This ain't one of them times you can slide by what you say that you gonna do. Put your money up, run that phase, I'm just showing proof. You know the vibes, partner. Ain't got no wings up in my casa, clowning the day, gone in la mañana. I've been on fire lately, train my spirit, mind and body daily. Victory is sweet, that's the science, baby. It's only right we represent from Tampa to Tally. And keep the pressure on these ops, they cardio lacking. Till you flapping on the canvas and bobbing, you're weaving, unleashing the fury on your face while the audience screaming. Hope they got great seats or the pay-per-view. Let's get the breakdown from J, DJ, and Q. You know the vibes. Yeah. You know the vibes. You know the vibes.
All right, welcome everybody to Boxing Vibes Podcast. You know what I'm saying? So we got my man JD in the building.
What's up?
And we coming to y'all live, man. We got some things we want to discuss today, man. And we want y'all to smash the like buttons, and rock with us or whatever.
Click the link, subscribe.
Yeah, subscribe to the link, man, because this is the beginning, but y'all gonna feel us, man. We coming, man. So y'all love boxing like we love boxing. You wanna get on this early, man. So you could be one of the ones that was I was there when. That's the story you want to tell. All right. So
hey, talk that talk, Q.
First we got because ladies first, and chivalry ain't dead. You know what I'm saying? Ladies first. So we're gonna go with Claressa Shields and Laila Ali fight. You know what I'm saying? Should that fight happen? It's the age discrepancy and everything, and some people feel like, it's like judging different eras. But to be fair, like Claressa said that I think Jackie Frazier and Laila fought, and it was a pretty close comparison to the ages, even though Jackie Frazier was still active. You know what I'm saying? She wasn't inactive like Laila has been. But I want to get y'all takes on it. How do y'all feel about that fight, fellas? Who want to take it first? JD,
I go ahead and take it, man. I think personally, it's a fight. It would be nice to happen for women's boxing, but I will say, I think it only benefits Claressa Shields from the standpoint of Laila is 42. She's got all of her businesses that she's working on. She's got the family life, all those things lined up. She has the Ali name naturally, which is the primary reason why I think it really benefits Claressa if it does happen. I mean, Claressa is 25 years old. I just think at a certain point when you're 42 and your opponent is 25, I mean, Father Time is undefeated. I think that Laila could put on a very good fight if she would have trained and devote herself to it, which she says that if the bag is right, that's what she's willing to do. But I see there's no upside for Laila outside of everybody being ready to open up a bag for her around to the tune of about 10 mil for the fight. So outside of that, it would be great for women's boxing, most definitely. But I kind of think Laila should probably sit it out. But I mean, if I'm Claressa, of course I want that fight because it naturally would elevate her status and her notoriety across the world, because who doesn't know the Ali last name?
Already. What you say about it, Jay? How you feel about it?
Is it a PG show we doing, or are we gonna edit it?
We grown, brother. I want you to speak your mind, brother. We gonna talk about this, man. This is our platform.
Well, and the keeping the thing with all major sports, it's all about the money. But in reality, this fight bullshit. So Laila Ali retired in 2007. 2007. At that point in time, she was fighting in a sport, women's boxing that wasn't that deep. And with the competition that was there, she didn't fight everyone she could have fought. She was 24-0, right? So if them in their primes, this will be a good test for both of them. Because I think at this point we kind of know Um, Claressa Shields is a real deal. She's proven that with gold medals. Now it would have been nice if female women's boxing was a thing in the Olympics, so we could see match resumes. But we can't even match resumes. It's sort of like women's college basketball. You had UConn dominating so long with fairly watered down talent because we failed to promote women's sports like that, so we weren't growing a new crop of female athletes. But now they're here, and you see UConn is not as dominant. And so much of the
Right.
same thing. You look at Ronda Rousey, and she was making people were making this big deal about who she fought and who she. A lot of times, I think she fought 2 repeat fights. There were really only she was the first person in that weight class to um, fight, and so they gave her a belt. And then when the talent pool got deeper, she drowned. So not to take anything with Laila Ali because she was a pioneer, she carried her father's name well, but the fight is bullshit. She ain't fought in 12 plus years. She was a great champion when she did fight, but the game has passed her by. And of course, if the money's right, hell, if the money's right, I'll get in there and fight Tyson Fury.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
but to be honest with you, we all know that the money's not gonna be there for a boxing match um, of that caliber. It's okay when you got a name like Mayweather and you have a resume like Mayweather to put together a Conor McGregor or a $9 million exhibition, but it's really hard for women's sports, and I think it's a bit of a mockery and it's almost a circus just because she carries the Ali name. I'm not saying she wasn't a great boxer in her time, but I personally am a big fan. I don't want to see her in there, get hurt. She's been out of the game for 12, 13 years. So I think it's nice to talk about. It's a fantasy matchmaking thing, which sounds good on paper, but I think it'd be a terrible idea.
Okay. Well, that's dope. That's
Now,
that's a good.
now here's the thing, though. I agree that if it's not for a big bag, I wouldn't do it either. But let me tell you who I actually, and kind of just looking at women's boxing as a whole, when we talked about doing this topic, it had me, starting to wonder who possibly, if you're Claressa Shields, could produce a good fight for women's boxing. I mean, because she's only a 25-year-old young lady. So you would have to think that somewhere around the world, there's got to be an up-and-coming woman who could challenge her. Interestingly enough, her only loss was in the amateurs to a young lady by the name of, I think, Savannah Marshall. And interestingly enough, check this out. Now, this blew my mind when I really found out about it. Homegirl is 8-0, and she's actually trained by the Fury family.
And Wolf. Oh, okay.
No, the Fury family. She's
Okay.
She's from the UK, and she's out of that Fury stable. So she's only 8-0. She kind of did more of the slow process, it looks like, as far as turning pro, a bit slower than Claressa did. She's about 28 years old, so they're kind of still both right around the same age. And I think that possibly, of course, they got to build up the girl Savannah Marshall. Of course,
Yeah.
I think both of them have talked about fighting, but it's got to be built up because nobody would know who in the world Savannah Marshall is. But if they build that up in the UK, I think possibly we could see a hell of a women's boxing match probably I'd say about 3 years from now, because this would end up being the only woman that ever gave her a true L. So, I mean, that's something to keep your eyes on.
You can't put too much on amateurs, and this is why I say, just because you're overlooking somebody that's right there. It's Sicilian Breakers, who already said she wanted to fight her. That's a big name and a legitimate champion. I think, man, one thing that'll hurt women's sports if you start name chasing and clout chasing too soon. So, like, if you get out there and you're saying, oh, you'll put this in, they're a person that beat them in amateurs. Y'all, do you guys know who the last person to beat Floyd Mayweather was in amateurs? They did a story on him. He was famous. He turned out to be not so great. And then has anybody seen Huey Fury fight, his cousin? It's an interesting backstory, but I think what's going to take women's boxing to the next level is actually fights like she had with Christina the Hammer, like a big unification bout. I mean, that was a major bout that people tuned in, and actually they were pushing that fight to say, hey, man, she felt like she could have got her out of there if the rounds were 3 minutes as opposed to short and truncated rounds. So that sounds good, but there's champions there that she can fight. There's already been back and forth about it. So I think, it's good. You can boxing, once you get to a certain level, you can afford these name-chasing fights. But I think at the end of the day, what we fear is you put somebody who's that inexperienced. Because let's understand about Claressa Shields. She may have lost to her in amateurs, but she's leapfrogged leaps and bounds as far as being an Olympic champion, two-time Olympic champion, and not being a world champion. And she's on a different platform. So I think the most immediate, fight that's out there is Sicilian Breakers, who, I think it'd be a pretty good fight. But she's already said she accepts the challenge, so I don't know where that's going. But I think what would be best for the sport of women's boxing is actually good performances and good fights, and the challenges that something like Christina Hammer posed. But we'll see.
But let me. Wait.
Y'all
gonna have to let me talk, man. You know what I mean?
Go ahead.
Let me get my opinion. I think my opinion gives contrast to the whole situation, because at this point, I'm coming in straight as a mainstream boxing fan, not a hardcore boxing fan, which we all pretty much are. But on the women's side of things, just for marketability, I think this fight, 'cause I want to see them get their bag, man. I think they got hype this up enough, and I agree with both of you guys' points. But I'm just saying for the money, because one thing about it is I was watching Claressa Shields, and she was talking about actually Laila Ali, and she was just saying what Laila Ali was getting for her fights, and she was saying that her last fight, I don't know, she was getting, and I'm thinking she was gonna say something close to the tune of $1 million, but she was like, and that's just that's the discrepancy between men and women getting paid. It was like 300,000 or 400,000 she was bragging on. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, damn. And I know, I think 5 million was the tune, around the tune I heard this fight was gonna start at, but it was gonna at least get 5 million. So honestly, man, just as a mainstream boxing fan on this side, because I ain't too deep in the women's game, but I do know I did enjoy Hannah Gabriel fight with Claressa. I did watch that fight, and I thought that was a good fight. And I did watch the Hammer fight also, but just Layla.
And I'll be honest, with the Hammer fight, I was a little disappointed with in Hammer's performance for what they hyped it up.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But it might have been how great Claressa was. Now I know, and this
who dropped real quick? Who dropped Claressa? Because she did get dropped in the fight. Was it that fight early, or was it Hannah Gabriel?
No, it wasn't against the Hammer. No, that was a complete whitewash. It was it started off slow and she dominated towards the end.
So was it Hannah Gabriel? Was it Hannah Gabriel from Costa Rica? Was it her?
Well, I can't remember.
I forget who it was, but and this is just a matter of paying respect. Y'all know who Sicilian Breakers is? Breakers, I hope I'm pronouncing it right. But she's 36-0. For that fight to be made, it'd have to be a catchweight fight, and Claressa Shields has trouble making weight. So that fight would be a lot more interesting than people think.
It's a catchweight. What weight class?
She's 36-0. They'd have to meet at 154 pounds or 150 pounds, whatever the catchweight would be, and she's 36-0. She's actually been dominating boxing longer than Claressa Shields.
What weight class? She been in the same weight class, or she's been moving? Because Claressa been moving up and down lately.
Well, she got to be in a different weight class. Got to be.
Yeah, she's in a different weight class. But when Claressa was at a lighter weight or whatever weight she came in at, she was nowhere ready for that stage to fight somebody who's been, because she's getting older, so the fight is going to happen. It needs to happen now. She's 37 years old, but she's been active and she's 36-0. So
Tell me what year was her first fight? If you got it right there in front of you, say she's 37 years of age. See, I
Oh
kind of
yeah,
when she started out.
Her first fight was actually the year Laila Ali retired, 2007.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
So